Right guys, we have more details regarding the Type-C situation with the iPhone 15 series, so let's delve into it. So recently there's been tons of talk whether we'll see Type-C with the 15 series, or would Apple go portless instead. Now personally, I still think Apple's going to give us a Type-C port. The whole point the European Union's put this law in place is to create a common standard for smartphones, and while yes, I know that Apple can work around this by simply going portless, I don't think the tech for a portless iPhone's ready yet, and there are benefits to the Type-C port. And yeah, recently Quo did tell us that yes, we should see Type-C with the 15 series, but only the Pros get Thunderbolt, and the regular models will be restricted to USB 2.0 speeds. And now we have a report from Mijinbu basically agreeing with Quo on this, that yes, there should be a difference in speeds with the ports on the regular and Pro models, but the difference actually might not be as big as we thought. So according to him, he says the standard USB-C ports on the base models will still support USB 4 version 2, and the Pro models will have Thunderbolt 4 support with backwards compatibility and USB 4 version 2 support. Now interestingly, he also says we could see 120 gigs per second of bandwidth with the iPhone 15 Pro models, and the regular models could be limited to 40 gigs per second. Now those numbers sound ludicrous, and personally I do have my doubts, because take for example the iPad Pros, they have speeds of 40 gigs per second, which is plenty fast for most mobile devices, and so I'm kinda confused the iPhone 15 Pros could get 120 gigs per second. That just seems ludicrous, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the iPhone 15 Pro should match the iPad Pros with 40 gigs per second. That's still going to be a major upgrade over Lightning. And as for the regular models, I do still unfortunately think they're going to stick with USB 2.0 speeds. Now I know some are not happy about this, but to be honest, most regular consumers are not going to be transferring content, and so this spec's really not that important. I think it's way more crucial the Pros get Thunderbolt because they do support ProRes videos, so of course now you can easily record video and then transfer that footage over to a computer in seconds. And so yeah, I totally understand why the 15 Pros should get Thunderbolt speeds, but the regular models do not need that. Most are just charging their devices with the ports. And so yeah, this spec is really not that important. Now that's not the only difference the Pro models are going to see, because obviously even with these initial iPhone 15 rumors, there is already a ton of separation between the Pro models and the regular models, and so let's break down the differences. So the first change is of course the chips inside. The Pro models are going to get the A17 chip, whereas the regular models are going to stick with the A16 chip. And while this year the upgrades weren't that massive with the A16 chip, the A17 should be based on a 3nm process, and so yeah, the performance and efficiency upgrades should be pretty major with this chip. And alongside the chip upgrade, we should see increased RAM with the Pro models. It should now be 8 gigs of RAM, and while that's probably not going to make a massive difference, it might help with future-proofing these devices. Also, if you remember the iPhone 14 leaks, there were rumors we would see 8 gigs of RAM for 8K video support, and so maybe that's going to be the case with the 15 Pro series. And actually that brings us to the cameras, because much like the 14 series, there are going to be camera differences between the regular and Pro models. For example, the Pros should have state-of-the-art Sony image sensors that capture more light, and these upgrades should be coming to the wide and the ultra-wide. And telephoto-wise, obviously the Ultra is going to get periscope zoom, which is going to give the iPhone 10x optical zoom, which is a big upgrade. So yeah, finally the iPhone's catching up to Android in this aspect, and that should result in 30x digital zoom, which is another big change. Now for those wondering what are the telephoto upgrades for the regular Pro, well, that's not been answered yet. We have no leaks regarding it, but I think we could see a jump from 3x to 5x. And for those wondering why the regular Pro's not getting the periscope zoom lens, it's purely because of size constraints. You see, the Android phones that have periscope zoom lenses are the ones with the massive displays. The smaller phones don't have this, and so I think that's the reason the 15 Pro's not getting this. There just would not be enough space in this, unless Apple of course compromises on other key components like the battery capacity. And finally, we do have some crazy reports. Number one, dual cameras on the front for the 15 Pro series. I don't think that's going to be the case. Yes, the second lens could be an ultra-wide lens for the front. That could be helpful for group selfies, but I think it would be a downgrade to increase the size of the island. And the second crazy report is solid-state buttons. Now I'm down for this, but I doubt that many are going to be a fan of this. and cases might not work that well with these buttons. So yeah, I don't see these two reports materializing for the 15 series. Oh, and also of course there is a chance the new design only comes to the Pro models, and the titanium chassis of course is going to be exclusive to the Pro models. And so yeah, much like this year, it's not worth buying the regular models because they're just going to miss out on so many big features. Just get the Pros instead. And it makes sense because as consumers upgrade less often, Apple would rather of course get you to spend more cash and get you to buy the Pro models with the bigger profit margins. And so while I am partly gutted by this, I can see why Apple's doing this. Anyways, let's delve into your comments. So Joe says quad cameras will look goofy with the LiDAR sensor and flash. And yes, I completely agree with this. It would be way too cluttered. And like I said in previous videos, there is a purpose behind the triple lens layout. It's like that so that the sensors are an equal distance between each other, which does make the switching between the lenses a lot smoother on the iPhone. So William says, I think it's time for a new camera design, to be honest. We've had the triple lens camera for years and it's kind of getting old. One potential creative solution is to have one big camera lens for the main sensor and smaller lenses for the other sensors. Even if it has no purpose, it would still make the iPhone iconic. Now, I wouldn't agree with that because your idea has already been done by other Android flagships. Mainly Xiaomi's devices incorporate a bump similar to this. And also, like I said, the whole reason switching between lenses is so smooth with the iPhone is because each lens is an equal distance with each other. So giving us one massive lens with other additional smaller lenses would ruin this. So yeah, once again guys, I'm sorry, but I just don't care about any redesign on the back of the device. I'm not staring at the back of the device, and the triple lens layout is fine as is. If anything, make it more flush with the body, but that's really about it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So Timmy says flat glass on back makes sense, and yes, I agree with this because curved glass would make this more fragile, since if you do drop this on the sides, the impact's now affecting the glass and that could completely crack the back. And so while curved glass does look better, I think durability wise, flat glass is the way to go. And Timmy also says, how about 4 cameras on the back and future 6 cameras on the back lol. Now I don't think we're ever going to see 6 cameras on the back. Why would a phone even need that many sensors? Now yes, I believe there was a Nokia smartphone that had 9 lenses, but that phone completely flopped. And yeah, most consumers just don't need anything above the regular 3 sensors. Anyways, that's about it, but tell me your thoughts regarding this in the comments. Anyways, thank you for watching guys. Make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours. Check out the video in the icon above on details regarding new HomePods. And on that note, see ya peeps.